chanting from Srimad Bhagvatam, Canto 7, Chapter 5, Text 12. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayat Nashtaprayesha Badreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naishtaki Krishna Swadamo Bhagate Dhamma Jnana Saha Kalo Nashtati Shamesha Paranoko Janodita Kantara Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Sayadanuvrata Pumsam Pashubuddhir Vividyate Anya Esha Tatanyoham Iti Veda Gata Sati. So that Supreme Personality of Godhead, Yada, when Anuvrataha, favorable or pleased, Pumsam, of the conditioned souls, Pashu Buddhi, the animalistic conception of life. I am the Supreme and everyone is God. Vividyate is destroyed. Anya, another. Esha, this. Tata, as well as. Anya, another. Aham, I. Iti, thus. Bheda, distinction. Gata, having. Asati, which is disastrous. Translation. When the Supreme Personality of Godhead is pleased with the living entity, because of his devotional service, one becomes a pundit and does not make distinctions between enemies, friends, and himself. Intelligently, he then thinks, every one of us is an eternal servant of God, and therefore we are not different from one another. Purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. We have a long purport today. When Prahlad Maharaj's teachers and demoniac father asked him how his intelligence had been polluted, Prahlad Maharaj said, as far as I am concerned, my intelligence has not been polluted. Rather, by the grace of my spiritual master and by the grace of my Lord Krishna, I have now learned that no one is my enemy and no one is my friend. We are all actually eternal servants of Krishna, but under the influence of the external energy, we think that we are separately situated from the Supreme Personality of Godhead as friends and enemies of one another. This mistaken idea has now been corrected, and therefore, unlike ordinary human beings, I no longer think that I am God and that others are my friends and enemies. Now I am rightly thinking that everyone is an eternal servant of God and that our duty is to serve the Supreme Master, for then we shall stand on the platform of oneness as servants. Demons think of everyone as a friend or enemy, but Vaishnavas say that since everyone is a servant of the Lord, everyone is on the same platform. Therefore, a Vaishnava treats other living entities neither as friends nor as enemies, but instead tries to spread Krishna consciousness, teaching everyone that we are all one as servants of the Supreme Lord, but are uselessly wasting our valuable lives by creating nations, communities, and other groups of friends and enemies. Everyone should come to the platform of Krishna consciousness and thus feel oneness as a servant of the Lord. Although there are 8,400,000 species of life, a Vaishnava feels this oneness. The Ishopanishad advises Ekatam Anupashyataha. Ishopanishad, verse 7. A devotee should see the Supreme Personality of Godhead to be situated in everyone's heart and should also see every living entity as an eternal servant of the Lord. This vision is called Ekatam, oneness. Although there is a relationship of master and servant, both master and servant are one because of their spiritual identity. This is also Ekatam. Thus, the conception of Ekatam for the Vaishnava is different from that of the Mayavadi. Hiranyakashipu asked Prahlad Maharaj how he had become antagonistic to his family. When a family member is killed by an enemy, all the members of the family would naturally be inimical to the murderer. But Hiranyakashipu saw that Prahlad had become friendly with the murderer. Therefore, he asked, who has created this kind of intelligence in you? Have you developed this consciousness by yourself? Since you were a small boy, someone must have induced you to think in this way. Prahlad Maharaj wanted to reply that an attitude favorable toward Vishnu can develop only when the Lord is favorable. Sa yadunu vrataha. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is the friend of everyone. Suridam sarvabhutanam yatva mam shantim richati. The Lord is never an enemy to any of the millions of living entities, but is always a friend to everyone. This is a true understanding. If one thinks that the Lord is an enemy, his intelligence is pashu buddhi, the intelligence of an animal. He falsely thinks, I am different from my enemy, and my enemy is different from me. The enemy has done this, and therefore my duty is to kill him. This misconception is described in this verse as Bheda Gatasati. The actual fact is that everyone is a servant of the Lord, as confirmed in Chaitanya Charitamrita by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Jivera Swarupahai Krishnera Nityadas. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila, chapter 20, verse 108. As servants of the Lord, we are one, and there can be no questions of enmity or friendship. If one actually understands that every one of us is a servant of the Lord, where is the question of enemy or friend? Everyone should be friendly for the service of the Lord. Everyone should praise another's service to the Lord and not be proud of his own service. This is the way of Vaikuntha thinking, of Vaishnava thinking, Vaikuntha thinking. There may be rivalries and apparent competition between servants in performing service, but in the Vaikuntha planets, the service of another servant is appreciated, not condemned. This is Vaikuntha competition. There is no question of enmity between servants. Everyone should be allowed to render service to the Lord to the best of his ability, and everyone should appreciate the service of others. Such are the activities of Vaikuntha. Since everyone is a servant, everyone is on the same platform and is allowed to appreciate the service of others. Such are the activities of Vaikuntha. Since everyone is a servant, everyone is on the same platform and is allowed to serve the Lord according to his ability, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Sarvasya chaham pridi sannivishto matasmritir jnanam apohanam cha. The Lord is situated in everyone's heart, giving direction according to the attitude of the servant. However, the Lord gives different dictation to the non-devotees and devotees. The non-devotees challenge the authority of the Supreme Lord, and therefore the Lord dictates in such a way that the non-devotees forget the Lord's service life after life and are punished by the laws of nature. But when a devotee very sincerely wants to render service to the Lord dictates in a different way. As the Lord says in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 10, verse 10, Tesham satati yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam tadami buddha yogam tam yenamam upayantite. To those who are constantly devoted and worship me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. Everyone is actually a servant, not an enemy or friend, and everyone is working under the different directions from the Lord, who directs each living entity according to his mentality. Om Jnana Timirantasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitan Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Nama Shishtam Manubhavi Sachiputramatra Sarupam Rupam Tasyagajam Uruparim Matarim Goshtavatim Radha Kundam Girivaram Aho Radhika Madhavasam Praptu Yasya Pratita Kripaya Shri Gurum Tam Natosmi Vande Nandhadviteshwayam Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhum Nichopi Yat Prasadat Sad Bhakti Shastra Pavardhaka Nityanandamaham Nami Sarvanandakaram Param Harinama Padam Devam Avaduta Shiromanim Nilachala Nivasaya Nityaya Paramatmane Balabhadra Subhadrabhyam Jagannataya Te Namaha Taptakanchana Gaurangi Radhe Bindavanishwari Vishabhanu Suti Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vrindaye Tulsi Devdaye Priyaye Keshavasya Krishna Bhakti Pradidevi Sattavachai Namo Namah Vansha Kopatu Bhischa Kripa Sindhu Devacha Patitanam Pavanibhyo Vaishnavyo Namah. Translation: When the Supreme Personality of Godhead is pleased with living unity because of his devotional service, one becomes a pundit and does not make distinctions between enemies, friends, and himself. Intelligently, he then thinks every one of us is an eternal servant of God, and therefore we are not different from one another. So let us try and unpack all the wonderful information that Srila Prabhupada has provided in this purport to this beautiful verse from Srimad Bhagvatam. The first point is that if we want to please the Lord, there's one process that he's actually pleased by, and that is bhakti. Not by karma, not by jnana, not by yoga. Karma, jnana, yoga, these processes are self-interested. Karma means I will perform an activity and I expect a result and I will enjoy the result and will offer a portion of this to Krishna. Enough so that he'll be pleased and I can get what I want out of this sacrifice. This is karma. I give you, you give me. Business. Prahlad Maharaj also says elsewhere, I believe in this chapter, that don't be a vanik, don't be a baniya, a mercantile man in your relationship with the Lord. Give everything to Krishna. This is bhakti. You embrace me, trample me, cheat on me, do whatever you like, but prananathas saeva naparaha. You're my prananath. I'm not making business with you. I'm not expecting any reward for my devotional life. I'm just giving you. And this is really the only asset in our life. Not what we've taken from God, but what we have given to God. So bhakti is the only way to please him. Not karma, not jnana. The objective of jnana is to merge, to become one with the Lord. Prabhupada mentions this in the purport. This is pashu buddhi. That I want to become God. This is impossible. Krishna says clearly in Bhagavad Gita and many places in Shastra, but most distinctly in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 15, verse 15. Sarvasya chaham hriday sannivishtaha matasmitir jnanam apohanam ja. No, not that verse. Mamaivam so jiva loke, check 7. Mamaivam so jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana manashastan indriyani prakriti stani karshati. And he says, Mama eva anksh, that you are certainly my anksh, a fragment of me. And for a particular duration of time, and at liberation, you can become one with me? No, impossible. He said, Jiva Bhuta Sanatana, you are eternally anks, you're eternally Jiva Sanatana. Sanatana means eternal. This is a very important verse to smash the Mayavad conception that liberation means to merge, to give up the false conception of self and merge into the totality of Brahman. They say, Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma, we are all Brahma. A portion of that Brahma has been covered by matter, by Maya, and that is the living being. Liberation means to become free from the influence of Maya and to merge with the impersonal absolute. But if you ask them, how is it that Brahma becomes covered, becomes illusion? That means that Maya is stronger than Brahma. That Brahma can be covered by Maya. Krishna is Maya Dakshena Prakriti, Sayate Sachara, that Maya works under my direction and is manifesting and unmanifesting the entire creation. It's working Ataksha by my power. So how is it that God, the fragmental portion of God, gets covered and thinks that God has become covered? This is a foolish idea. So artificially, they think they become liberated. Yenye ravindaksha vimuktamaninas baba avishuddha buddhaya aruya krishnena parampadam tata padantyadho nadhrita yushvadangyara. So this is, they're only thinking that I have become liberated. Vimukta manina. In their mind, they're thinking that they're liberated, but they're not actually liberated. Why? Because they've not taken shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. Because they think the lotus feet of the Lord and the Lord's body is Maya, a creation of Maya, a product of Sattva Gun, the modes of material nature. And that the ultimate understanding of God is Brahma. Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma. And they think I'm also Brahma, so I'm also Krishna. This is a Mayavad illusion. And this is the objective of the Jnanis, to merge into the impersonal absolute. But Krishna says clearly, Aruya Krishnena Parampadam Tata Padanti Adho Nadrita Yushmad Angraya. That they may rise by Krishnena sadhana, by severe austerity, they may rise to the Brahmajyoti. But this is an artificial position for the soul, and because they don't take shelter of Krishna, Padanti Adha, they fall down from their exalted position back into the material world and have to start all over again through the 8,400,000 rotation through the 8,400,000 species of life. So jnana is not the goal. Karma is not the goal. Yoga is not the goal. The yogis want to develop mystic siddhis, anima siddhi, lagima siddhi, prapti siddhi, anuvasita siddhi, different types of mystic perfections to contradict the laws of material nature. They can do that, but they'll never go back to Godhead. They'll take birth again. This isn't the perfection. This isn't how we please Krishna. They're self-interested. Krishna bhakti nishkama ataveta shanta bhukti mukti siddhi kami sakale ashanta. The non-devotees, the yogis, the karmis, the jnanis are all ashanta, all unhappy because they haven't come to bhakti. Bhakti is the natural characteristic of the soul, and it's the only way to please Krishna. So it says here that when Krishna is pleased by devotional service, one becomes a pandit. What is a pandit? Krishna says in 5th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Vidya Vanaya Sampane, or the symptom of a pandit. Pandit, pandit is not a rubber stamp. It's not a family name or a title of one has to be learned. One has to have the characteristics of a pandit. Otherwise, it's insulting. It's like if we call a beggar a king, this is insulting to the title king, and it's insulting to the beggar. A king is known by his characteristics. He has a crown, he has a kingdom, he has queens, he has an army, he has a treasury, he has power, he has subjects. There are characteristics by which a king is to be known. Similarly, there are characteristics by which a pandit is to be known. It's not a title, a family name. It is a description of one's learning. And what does Krishna say? Vidya Vanaya Sampane Brahmane Gavihastinu Shuni Chaiva Sopakicha Pandita Samadarshina. That a pandit is a learned person. He sees a cow, a dog, an elephant, a dog eater, a Brahmin. He sees them all equally. How? Because he doesn't distinguish between the different types of bodies. The bodies are all different, but the soul that inhabits the body is the same. And they get a particular body due to the influence of their association with the material modes of nature. Someone becomes an elephant, someone becomes a Brahmin, someone becomes a dog, someone becomes dog eater, due to their association with the modes of material nature. Purusha, Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita, Purusha prakriti stohi, punkte prakriti jan gunan, karanam gunasangasya sadasad yoni janmasu. The Purusha prakriti stohi, where the Purusha means the soul. That means you, that means me, it means every conditioned soul. We're stuck in the modes, in prakriti, in the modes of material nature, and we're being washed this way and that by sattva gun, raja gun, tamagun. Purusha prakriti, bhukte prakriti jan gunan. And our disease is that we want to enjoy this material experience. We want to enjoy prakriti. But due to our proclivity to enjoy material nature in a particular way, this is the cause. Karanam means the cause. Karanam guna sangasya. The cause of our taking different types of birth is by our association with different modes of material nature. Karanam guna sangasya, sad asad joni. Someone gets sad joni, becomes a human being, becomes a demigod. It's a good birth in a pious family. And asad joni means a dog, a pig, a crow, a snake. They're also souls. Pandita Samadarshina. A pandit sees them all equally because he understands here is the soul. And by that soul's association with the modes of material nature, he's taken a corresponding birth. This is the irrefutable explanation of how different types of species are there. It's not an accident that someone becomes a snake and someone becomes Lord Brahma, Lord Indra, or a Brahmin, a king, a Pandit. It's by their association, by their karma, by their activities. They've created their life. They've created their wealth. They've created their health, their fame, their everything. We've created this life, so we have to accept responsibility. So one becomes a Pandit because he's pleased. He gets a good birth. He becomes learned. He understands the principles of devotional life because he's pleased the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Bhagavad Gita confirms, Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yenamam upayantite. First principle is satata yuktanam. Krishna says, always be engaged in my service, not to be a part-time devotee. You know, I'm engaged in the service of Maya sometimes, and sometimes I'm engaged in Krishna service. But somehow or other, we should mold our life in such a way that we're always engaged somehow in one of the 9 processes of bhakti, Navavida bhakti. Satata yuktanam means continually engaged, always engaged. But how? Bhajatam priti purvakam, with priti, with love. Because God doesn't need our service. He's not a beggar. Lakshmi sahasrasata sambrahmasebhyamanam govindam adi purasham tamaham jami. The original person, Govinda, the Supreme Lord, is surrounded by hundreds and millions of goddesses of fortune that are serving his every whim. Does he need our patram pushpam palam toyam, our dupam deepam naivedyam, our little arati, our little offering? Does he need that? Does he need us to chant japa? That's for our benefit. We serve the Lord with priti. He wants to see what is the characteristic of our bhakti. He wants to see ultimately our love, our priti. And that is the only way to please him. That is the only way to get his mercy. It's something like a parent's relationship with their child. The child, having tasted a delicious toffee or sweet, thinks, oh, this is so nice. Let me offer one to my father. And he approaches father or mother and says, Mata, Papa, you please taste this. This is so delicious. You have one. Where did he get the toffee? He got it from Mata, from Papa. But he wants to please his parents. So it's a crude example, but this is the principle of bhakti. Where do we get the flower, the fruit, the water? Does he need it? What, is God a beggar for water? Mediterranean Ocean is there, Caspian Sea is there, Atlantic Ocean, Pacific Ocean, Indian Ocean. 70% of the planet is covered by water. Is God in need of water? It's his creation. Is he in need of water? Is he in need of fruits and flowers? The trees are at certain times of year, the trees are overburdened with millions of tons of fruits and flowers. Why is he asking for these things? Yome bhaktya parichyati. Said, if you offer me these things with love, I accept them. And if someone's offering is accepted by God, his whole life is blessed. So this is the principle of bhakti. We just want to please Krishna. Brajatam priti purvakam. And if we please him, it's not that he doesn't reciprocate. He's a light, a void, an energy, a nothing. This is the Mayabha conception. If God is Nirakar Brahman, if he's simply Nirvishesh Brahman, has no characteristic, no quality, no like, no dislike, no pleasure, no pain, no satisfaction. If he can't hear us, if he has no eye, no ear, no leg, no mouth, that he's a deaf man, a dumb man, a blind man, a lame man. This is the Nirakar conception of God, Nirvishesh conception of God. How can he hear your prayer? How can he be pleased? How can he accept your offering? This is all foolish, Mayavad nonsense, garbage philosophy. Krishna is a person. And when we please him by bhakti, he reciprocates with us. He sees our bhakti. He appreciates our bhakti. He loves the devotee. And what is this reciprocation? Dadami buddhi yogam tam. He gives us the knowledge to do what? Yenamam upayanti. Upayanti te, to come back to him, to go back to God. And what to speak of becoming a pandit, a learned person, We go back to Godhead by the process of Krishna Bhakti. If Krishna accepts our devotional service, if he's pleased, he says, Dami Buddhi Yogam Tam, I give you Buddhi Yogam, not Pashu Buddhi, as mentioned in this verse. The mentality, the intelligence of an animal, animalistic mentality, thinking, I am God, I am the enjoyer, I'm perfect, powerful, happy. This is Pashu Buddhi. Krishna gives Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam. He gives us the intelligence by which we can come to him, go back to Godhead. So, comparatively speaking, becoming Pandit's nothing. But Pandit is a high thing. It's actually a high thing. To become learned, to experience what is this world, to become self-realized. And what is the characteristic? One of the characteristics is mentioned here. He does not make distinction between enemies, friends, and himself. This is Brahmabhuta platform. Brahmabhuta prasanatma asochatina kankshati samasarveshu bhuteshu madbhaktim labhate param. Samasarveshu bhuteshu means he sees every living being equally. This is Brahman realization. And this is required. If we want to progress in bhakti, we have to at least come to the Brahman conception that we're prasanatma. We're always joyful, always happy, never depressed, never sad, angry, envious, lusty, disturbed in our mind. Prasanna atma, happy soul. This is a symptom of someone who's on the Brahman platform because he doesn't identify with this world. He doesn't identify with his body. He identifies himself as Atma, which is Satchit Ananda, full of joy. We're joyful by nature. How have we become depressed and full and under the influence of the modes of material nature? Because we've accepted this material body and its concomitant baggage of material mind and material intellect. And we identify with it all and we think this is my home. I can enjoy here. And we get wrapped up, locked, tied up by the modes of material nature. So this solution is to come to the spiritual stage, the Brahman stage, where we no longer identify with this gross material body of fat and skin and hair and bones and muscles and skin and brain and lungs and kidney and liver and pancreas and intestines. What part of that is me? Am I a liver, a heart, a brain? What am I? This people don't think. They have no brain to think, to be introspective. This is the first aphorism of the entire Vedanta Sutra. Vedanta Sutra consists of 550 Vedic aphorisms. The very first one is Atato Brahma Jigyasa. Now is the time to understand who you are. What is Brahman? That I am Brahman. We say Aham Brahmasmi. This is also, the Mayavadis twist this to mean that I am God. God is Brahman, I am Brahman, I am God. This is a foolish proposition, most foolish proposition. This is like saying, I am an American. By birth, I'm an American. And the president of America, Mr. Biden, he is an American. So he is an American, I'm an American. We're the same, I am President Biden. What a foolish idea. But the Mayavadis think in the same way. I am Brahman, God is Brahman, I am God. Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma, everything is God, I am God. It's such a foolish idea. Such a foolish idea. So this is Pashu Buddhi. But we get Dadami Buddhi Yogam. We get Buddhi Yogam by Krishna when we're engaged in his service. And the next verse says, Te Shamavanu Kampartam Aham Jnana Jam Tamanasham Yatma Babasto Jnana Deepena Basvata. It says, I, dwelling within your heart, destroy with the shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance, out of my compassion. Anukampartam, because Krishna is a person. He witnesses our struggle to make progress in spiritual life. He witnesses our sacrifice. He hears our prayer. He sees our activities. Upadrashta Mantacha Bhukta Bharta Mahesh. He is an overseer. He sees everything. Upadrashta. And he reciprocates. Anukampartam. What is his the symptom of his mercy? is that he destroys with the darkness of ignorance, with the shining lamp of knowledge. He gives us knowledge. We become self-realized. We understand our position. Aham brahmasmi. Brahmano. Aham, aham brahmasmi. But higher than this statement, aham brahmasmi, is aham tavasmi. The Mayavadis say aham brahmasmi. I'm you. I'm Brahman. You're Brahman. I am you. Devotee thinks, I don't want to be you. I want to be yours. Not you, yours. Devotee prays Tavasmi Radhika Nata Karmana Manasa Gira Krishna Kante Tavaivasmi Yuvameva Gatir Mama Sharanam Vam Prapanosmi Karuna Nikara Kuro Prasadam Kuru Dasyam Vo Mai Dushte Paradini. He prays that please accept me. Prabhupada said, this is our prayer. When we're chanting japa, what is our prayer? Please accept me. You don't need me. I'm one of billions of asankhya, billions of living beings. I'm insignificant, but I need to be accepted by you, to be engaged in your service. We're beggars. So, Tavasmi, I am yours. Please accept me. Radhika Nath, Karmana Manasa Gira, my body, my mind, my words, all my activities, let that be offered to you. Give me your shelter. Sharanam Vam Praponosmi. Sharanam Vam. Give me your shelter. Even though Maya Dushte Paradini, even though I'm douche, fallen, rascal, sinful person, please accept me as your servant. This is bhakti. Not this nonsense. Mayavad. Aham Brahmasmi. I am God. They cut the heart out of bhakti. If we're God, what is the question of bhakti? They say bhakti is a means to an end. They give an example. They say bhakti is like a ladder. If you want to cross the wall, there's a high wall. You can't cross it on your own. You get a ladder. You lean the ladder against the wall. You climb up the ladder, get over the wall. Then you kick the ladder away. This is not bhakti. It's not a means to an end. It's our eternal relationship with the Lord. It's what we do eternally. Jivara, Prabhupada quoted the verse, Jivara Swarupahai Nityara Krishna Das. Nitya Krishna Das, we're eternal servants of the Lord. Liberation doesn't mean you stop being servant of Krishna and you become the master. How is it possible? We're the master of what? You can decide what you want to eat for breakfast, maybe, or what you're going to wear. You can decide something. But are we master? Are we in charge of our heartbeat? Are we in charge of the synapse of our brain? Are we in charge of our digestion? Are we in charge of our own life and death? It's such a foolish proposition. I am the master. We're servants. And we're under the control of the modes of material nature. So these realizations come to us by bhakti. Tadami buddhi yogam tam, anukampartam. Krishna shows his grace. He pulls us out. He's the swift deliverer from the ocean of material birth and death. He pulls us out of this material world if he accepts us. So bhakti means to beg the Lord. And this is how a devotee thinks. The verse is stated here. Intelligently, he then thinks every one of us is an eternal servant of God. And therefore, we are not different from one another. So on one stage, from one point of view, we are not different. But does that mean we're all one? I'm you, I am you, and you are me? Is that what it means? No. Like if I have a basket of mangoes. Here it's mango season in Mayapur. There's such delicious, beautiful mangoes. So if I have a basket of mangoes, we can say they are all mangoes, they are one. They are not different from one another. Each mango, every one of them is a mango. They're not different from each other. But each mango is also different from each other. One may be a little sweeter. One may be a little riper. One may have a different coloration on the skin. One may be bigger. One may be smaller. They're different from each other. That can't be denied. They're the same, but they're also different. So we're also the same. And this is what's being emphasized here, that we're not different from one another. Spiritual vision, that if I feel pain, I can understand that you must also feel pain. If I have to become diseased and suffer, I can understand you will also become diseased and suffer. If I have to die, I can understand that you will also have to meet death. The human experience is the same. We are one, but we're also different. We can't deny difference. So this is an important point, because on one side, Shastra is telling us in this verse that we're not different from each other, but we're also different from each other. Therefore, in Krishna consciousness, we cultivate friendships with swajati, with like-minded devotees, not with persons who are inimical to the process of the Krishna bhakti. We don't associate freely. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was asked, who is a Vaishnava? He said, asat sanga tyaga e Vaishnavachar. A Vaishnava is a person who rejects the association of non-devotees. So is it that, oh, you're a spirit soul, you're you're a spirit soul that likes to eat hamburgers and smoke cigarettes and drink alcohol and exploit the opposite sex. And you're a spirit, so we're all spirit souls, so let us associate. No, that's not what it means. That's not the oneness that's being discussed here. We're one, just as the mangoes are one, but there are differences. And we discriminate in our association based on those differences. We associate with Svajatiya, with devotees who have the same objectives in life. They want to please Radha Krishna, who want to go back to Goloka. We associate with them. Saguru sapita chapi samata bandavo pisa. Siksayat sada smartum haranamaya kevalam. One anonymous Vaishnava poet wrote such a beautiful ashtakam, glorifying the chanting of the holy name. So he said, who is a guru? Who is your mother? Who is your father? Who is a friend? Only that person who always encourages you and reminds you to chant the holy name of Krishna. The holy name of the Lord is everything. So do we associate with people who blaspheme against the holy name? Or do we associate with people who glorify the holy name and encourage us in our spiritual life? Then that's a no-brainer. We associate with devotees. We see oneness in the human experience, but we don't associate on the platform of oneness. We associate on the platform of sameness. We associate with devotees. We find shelter in devotees. Tadati pratigrinati guyamakyati puchiti bhunkte bhojete chaiva sadvidam priti lakshanam. We want to develop loving relationships with devotees. So we give dadati pratigrinati. We offer some small gift to devotees just to please them. It doesn't have to be an expensive gift, a diamond ring. No. It can be a little picture of Krishna, a sweet ball, some small gift, and we accept that with love. Tadati and pratigrinati. We offer some gift and we accept some gift. Guyam akyati puchiti. We reveal our mind in confidence and we inquire confidentially. This is an important thing, because if there is a doubt that is eating your consciousness, if there is a situation in your life that is causing great disturbance, there should be someone in your life that you can talk to about it, that you can reveal to your heart, that someone in whom you have absolute trust, that they won't violate the confidential nature of the discussion. It's not that you can speak to anyone, because you speak, next thing you know, your whole life story is up on Facebook. You have to have some faith in the person. You have to have intimate relationship with that person, that you can tell them anything that's going on in your life. You can reveal your heart. You can inquire confidentially and reveal in confidence anything going on in your life that's a disturbance. And who can you do that with? Someone who you have love for. We want to develop love for Vaishnavas, not this so-called love of the material world. That is simply lust. A man tells a woman, I love you. I really love you. You're so beautiful. I love you. And the woman will say, do you really love me? I mean, really love me? Oh, yes, I love you with all. What is this? It's simply the precursor to a lusty exchange, exchanging bodily fluids. It's not love. It's like if I say, I love rasgulla. Do I love this round, sweet piece of curd, of paneer? No, I love eating it. I love the taste, the satisfaction I derive by putting it in my mouth and tasting it. I don't love the rasgulla. I love the experience of eating rasgulla. So people in this world say, I love you. Is it love? It is lust. Devotees who are free from the bodily conception of life, who see each other as eternal loving servants of God, can actually love each other. Because we don't want anything from them. We want to serve Vaishnavas. I don't need money from you. I don't need praise from you. I don't need sense gratification from you. I only want your association. Let us Matchita Madgada Prana Bodhiyanta Parasparam Katayantaschamam Nityam Tushanti Cha Ramanti Cha. I simply want to hear and chant about Krishna, and Tushanti Cha Ramanti Cha derive great happiness and satisfaction conversing and discussing Krishna. This is the happiness of association of devotees. So have someone in your life that you can speak to if you're experiencing some trouble in a relationship, financial trouble, health problem, mental trouble, whatever it is. There should be a devotee in your life that you can talk to about it. Guyam akyati prishiti. And bhungte bojayate chaiva, the fifth and sixth item of priti lakshanam, of loving exchanges between devotees. That we offer prasadam and we accept prasadam. Saying, hey, Prabhu, Mataji, come on over. It's my birthday. I want to serve you. I want to feed the devotees on my birthday. Or you go to someone's home. They're not feeling well. They stop going to the temple. There's some challenge in their life, some depression. So you go to their home and you bring them some sweet just to say, hi, how are you? To give something. Bhungte, to offer prasadam and to accept prasadam. These are symptoms of friendship. These are symptoms of love between devotees. So on one side, we see everyone the same. But from the other side, we're not the same. We're all different. The mangoes in the basket are all mangoes, but they're all different. So we're devotee mangoes. We only want to associate with other devotees. And this is how we make progress. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said this is the root cause. What is the root cause of our progress in bhakti? He said it is association of devotees. If we don't imagine, try and imagine for a minute, just think for a moment. What would your life be like if you had no association of devotees? If there was no temple you could go to, no one you could call up, no one's home you could go to, no devotee, it's like hell. It would literally be hell. Just surrounded by non-devotees who simply criticize your everything that's dear to your heart. Who can understand a devotee? Only another devotee. So we do discriminate. We are one. That is Brahman platform. But the bhakti platform means to associate with devotees, Svajatiya devotees, who have this like-minded devotees. So Brahma Bhuta Prasanatmana Sochinikang Samasaveshu Bhuteshu, we see everyone equally. This is Shastra. We see them equally. We see their pleasure, their pain is my pain and my pleasure. We see universal human experience. But this is Brahman realization. Higher than that is Vaishnava realization. How to associate with devotees, how to respect the senior. And this is also described. Who is a Madhyam Bhakta? A neophyte devotee, not tad bhakteshu chanyeshu. He worships the deity. Achayam eva hariye pujamya shradayayate. He worships the deity with faith and devotion. But not tad bhakteshu chanyeshu. He doesn't know how to treat a devotee. He discriminates. Oh, here is a Western devotee. Here's an Indian devotee. Here's a wealthy devotee. Here's a poor devotee. Here's an old devotee, a young devotee, a black devotee, a brown devotee, a white devotee, a yellow devotee, an ISKCON devotee, a Gaudiya Math devotee, a Ramanuja devotee, a Madhva devotee, all Vaishnavas. We should respect devotees because they're devotees, because they're dear to the Lord. But neophyte devotee, natad bhakteshu chanyeshu. He's not able to do that because he's a neophyte. He worships the deity very nicely. But such worship is described in Bhagvatam. That worship is described in Bhagavatam as a person who offers ghee unto ashes for the benefit of Agnihotra, Havan, Yajna. You have to offer the ghee into the blazing flames, not to ashes. What benefit you get by pouring ghee into ashes? So Bhagavatam explains that if we worship the deity very nicely, but we don't respect a Vaishnava, if we don't love the devotees, then that type of worship of the deity is like the foolish person who pours ghee onto ashes. Because devotees are very, very dear to the Lord. They're more worshipable than the Lord. Goddess Parvati, Mother Parvati asked her husband, Lord Shiva, who is the most worshipable personality? Lord Shiva replied, Aradhananam Sarvesham Vishnu Aradhanam Param Tasmat Parataram Devi Tvadiyanam Samarchanam. He said, of all worshipable personalities, Lord Vishnu, Krishna, is the most worshipable personalities, but more worshipable than the Lord. Tvadiyanam Samarchanam is Tvadiya. What does Tvadiya mean? That means the devotee, the mandir, the book, all the things in relationship with Krishna. Devotees are more worshipable than the Lord himself. There's a nice story. Srila Prabhupada went to visit one wealthy business person, an acquaintance of his. So the man's servant came down and said, Prabhu is busy worshiping the deity. He'll be with you as soon as he's finished. So Srila Prabhupada commented, here is a neophyte devotee, beginning devotee, because he's putting the Lord before the devotee. When a devotee comes to your home, you can drop everything, even if you're in the middle of puja, to welcome the devotee, to seat the devotee, to give him some little prasadam, at least a glass of water, to welcome him. Because devotees are tvadiyanam. They're very, very dear to the Lord. So in our relationships with the Lord, we should give preference to devotees. We should associate with devotees. We should learn how to associate with devotees, how to respect devotees, not in the name of samasarveshu bhuteshu. We see everyone equally. Pandita samadarshina. We see everyone equally. It's all the same. This is Mayavad. This is not is Brahman conception. But we embrace the bhakti conception to associate with devotees that are dear to the Lord, because this is the root cause of our progress in spiritual life. Without that, what is our life? We can't imagine a life without devotees. So many things here in this purport. Anyone has any question at this point?
No, Prabhuji. But thank you so much for explaining nicely.
Okay, Prabhupada mentions another thing here in the purport that's significant. It's sort of along the same lines that we're discussing. He said, everyone should be friendly for the service of the Lord. Everyone should praise another's service to the Lord and not be proud of his own service. This is the way of Vaishnava thinking, Vaikuntha thinking. There may be rivalries and apparent competition between servants in performing service, but in the Vaikuntha planas, the service of another servant is appreciated, not condemned. This is an important consciousness that we should manifest in our relationships with devotees, in our communities, in our sanghas, in bhakti vriksha groups, in temple communities, and whatever group, wherever devotees come together. If someone's doing better service, we should be joyful, not envious. The materialistic mentality is to become envious of another's prosperity, another person's good fortune, another person's ability to lead kirtan, to give class, to worship the deity, to manage his position. Well, why am I not the temple president? Who is this guy? He's bogus. He's doing a bad job. I should be the temple president. They should respect me. This is bogus. This is not Vaikuntha thinking. This is not Vaishnava thinking. We say, who are we? Gopi Bhartu Padakamalayur Dasa 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 Anudasa. We're simply the servant of Krishna, who's the maintainer of the gopis. This is our identification. If we lose that, then we begin to think in materialistic way. Why not me? I'm the center of the universe. I should be respected. I should be in charge. And we become envious of other Vaishnavas. Who is a Vaishnava? Dharma projita kaitavatra paramo nirmatsaranam satam. He's nirmatsarata. Matsarata means a person who is unable to tolerate the progress of another person. He's someone, he sees another devotee who becomes wealthy, he becomes envious. Why not me? Why has this person progressed? How he has become so opulent? Why he's driving such an expensive car, living such a big house? Why not me? This is matsarata. He can't tolerate now there's progress. Or if there's a birth, why I didn't get a nice kid like that? Or there's a marriage, why I didn't get a nice husband and wife like that? So many things, clothes, cars, living arrangements, family situations. Unfortunately, coming to this material world, we're all polluted by this negative quality called envy. We should kick out envy because it's not Vaikuntha thinking. It's not Vaishnava thinking. When we see a devotee making progress, we should be joyful. It's like when Rupa and Sanatan met Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu bestowed their mercy. He gave them great mercy. All the devotees became joyful. They were dancing. Hari Bol, Hari Bol. They're joyful to see Rupa and Sanatan receive mercy from the Lord. They weren't thinking, why not me? This is Matsarata. So a devotee is near Matsarata. He kicks out envy. He's happy to see a devotee progress. And if we can manifest that in our communities, people will line up at the door wanting to join, where people are loved and respected. I mean, think about it. Where in the world do we find communities where people fold their hands to you? They bow down to you. They bow down to you. They call you Prabhuji. They call you Mataji. They respect you. They want to teach you. They want to see you happy. They want to see you go back to Godhead. They want to feed you. Where in the world do we find an association like that? Only in the association of devotees. This is Vaikuntha atmosphere. So we have to ensure that it remains Vaikuntha atmosphere. No bickering, no fighting, no politics. Everyone should be happy with the service they're given by the grace of God and Guru, and be happy to see another progress in devotional life. This is what Prabhupada is talking about here. Everyone should be allowed to render service to the Lord to the best of his ability, and everyone should appreciate the service of others. Such are the activities of Vaikuntha. So we're trying to create heaven on earth. We're trying to bring the Vaikuntha atmosphere to our temples, to our sanghas, to our bhakti vriksha groups. Because this is Vaikuntha. How will we go to Vaikuntha? You won't be allowed in if you carry non-Vaikuntha consciousness. You have to stay in the material world. If you want to enter Vaikuntha, we have to practice Vaikuntha consciousness in this world. And this is the purpose of association with devotees. Kick out envy, kick out greed, kick out lust, and make Krishna the center, the enjoyer of all of our activities, and be happy to see another devotee progress. This is Vaikuntha atmosphere. So this is part and parcel of the discussion in hand about being friendly to other devotees. How can you be someone's friend if you're envious of them? You know, if you're thinking, this guy's really a jerk, but you smile. This guy's really a jerk, you know, he's so proud, he's so puffed up, he thinks he's so wealthy, he's so important, but you smile in his face. Oh, Hari Bol, Prabhu, how are you? So happy to see you. This is duplicity. There's no place for duplicity in Vaishnava dealings. We should be straightforward. Nirmatsarata. No envy of devotees. We should be happy to see devotees progress. We should be happy in their association. Straightforward. Saralata, I think it's called saralata, or simplicity. Simple in our relationships with devotees. Straightforward. If you don't like a devotee, you don't have to pretend you do. If you can't associate nicely, don't associate. Just be formal be friendly, formally, but try and build relationships with like-minded devotees and make progress in spiritual life. Because this is the substance of our bhakti. Where there's no bhakti without devotees. Hari Bhakta Sangan, Chatur Vidhashi Bhagavat Prasada, that we take prasadam, Hari Bhakta Sangan, in the association of devotees. We do Sankirtan, Sangha, Samyak, Kirtan. Means kirtan with many people, not by yourself, not bhajan. You're sitting in a room by yourself with a pair of kartals. That's not Sankirtan. Sankirtan means with many devotees. Hari Bhakta Sangha, taking prasad with many devotees. Singing, dancing, chanting with many devotees. The more the merrier. This is our process. Association of devotees. Because association with devotees is the root cause of our progress in spiritual life. So see everyone is the same. Respect everyone. But love the devotees. Excuse me. And if you love the devotees will love you. That is a fact. Sometimes I see devotees publishing things on Facebook or some internet venues, and they're simply blaspheming devotees. Oh, devotees are like this, devotees are like that. Devotees have no values. This. What? I feel so sorry for them. That you never learned how to love devotees. And devotees will never love you. If you have such negative attitude towards the people that we're going to, because if we all go back to Godhead, we're going to be together for a very long time. So we should learn how to associate with devotees, how to love devotees. Because if we learn that, Krishna will be pleased and he'll bestow upon us all blessings. You become top class Pandit, you become top class Premi Bhakta, and you'll go back to Godhead by associating with devotees. So anyone has any comment or question?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Madanat Pranam to you, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. So Prabhuji, as we are progressing in Krishna consciousness, some of our relatives become very envious. And in the life when they have at least been talking to us, but now they don't want to talk to us, and and there is no reason as such. It's just that like sometime when we talk to them, we give them some Krishna Katha. So then they start thinking that, this person has become very learned. And he's speaking from, Bhagvatam, this story, that story. And, he's not talking like general talk. More enviousness comes. So, and then like, some of them are related to us as like brother sisters also. So how do we deal with them? Because we still have to deal with them in the material world. And Krishna has given us, do we like, stop dealing with them even if they are like blood related?
No, Shastra says prema bhakti kripopeksha, that for the Lord we should develop prema. For devotees we should develop friendship. For the innocent we should instruct them, and for those who are envious, upeksha, neglect them. If someone's out and out inimical, a blasphemer of Vaishnavas, a blasphemer of Lord Krishna, of your guru, then how can you tolerate their association? If someone's just hard and fast, hardcore materialist, just give them prasadam. Sometimes people would come to meet Srila Prabhupada, and Srila Prabhupada wouldn't even preach to them because he could understand they're not ready to hear. He would chat, how's your family? Where are you from? What do you do? How's life? He just chit chat with them and charm them. Sometimes we think we just have to jump all over, like preach. I'm going to go preach to my family. Well, your family may not want to hear your preaching. Preaching strategy is different than just hammering people with Bhagavad Gita shlokas. Preaching, a more powerful preaching can be just to come and be happy, to be satisfied, to be healthy, to be prosperous. And they say, who is this person? It's like one time I worked in the jewelry industry for 20 years. I was working as a goldsmith and watchmaker. So I was working in one place, Shane Company. It's a big jewelry chain in Colorado and other places. So I've been working in this shop with about 6 other people. And it came out that this guy's a vegetarian. So one of these guys, one of the other employees walked up to me and says, I just knew there was something strange about you. But we're happy to be strange. We're happy to be different. We don't have to hammer people about it. You can bring them prasadam. You can give them a book if they show a little glimmer of interest. But, you know, if we develop this heavy preaching attitude with our family, especially, we'll isolate ourselves and they won't appreciate it. So we should deal with family carefully because they're family. You're stuck with them. They don't stop being family. You're blood related or related by marriage. You're stuck with them. So dealing with family is an art. Just be nice. Be nice with them. Don't preach heavy to them. If they ask questions, that's different. But be happy. If someone's envious, the greatest way to defend yourself against their envy is to be completely blissful. Because they won't tolerate. Oh, why is this person so happy? Why are they always smiling? Why are their faces so bright? This is the antidote for their envy. So it's an art, it's a big discussion, but in general,
Yes.
This is how we deal with family.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. And Prabhuji, one more thing, I just wanted to know something about chanting.
I'll say
Like-
one thing. I'll say one thing. Like I have a sister who's a Muslim, like die-hard Muslim. She wears hijab. She does namaz 5 times a day. She reads Quran. She won't eat all. I mean, she's a Muslim, strict Muslim. So shall I argue with her about philosophy? It's a waste of my time, because
Yes.
I tried one time. I said, okay, God, you're Allah, Allah. He's Akbar. He's Latif. He's Razak. He's all these different names. These are names of a person. How do you say God's not a person? She just became angry with me. So instead of trying to preach to her, just be nice, be a family member. I love you too, bye. Okay, but it works, because she calls me up on the phone and she says, Salam alaikum, Sarva, Hari Bol. And she's chanting Lord's name. What more I want from her? What more can I expect from her? Salam alaikum. I say, oh, alaikum salam, Noor, Hari Bol. So deal with family carefully and you'll see progress in course of time. And that's my personal experience. Okay, you had a question about chanting.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Very nicely you explained. And while you were explaining this particular answer, one thought was coming to me, how Kunti Maharani always prayed to Krishna that please remove my, attachment to the family, So sometimes we can also have those prayers that, because we are getting affected by the emotions they're showing, enviousness and this and that. So we can also pray like that, remove our attachment, and we can just superficially just show and maintain, because we have to maintain it. Krishna has given us that relation or whatever that is, right? That's also...
Well, that's not exactly Kunti's prayer. She said, Twaye menanya vishaya matir madhupate sakrit vate mudvahata adha gange vagam udanvati. Said, let my attraction flow to you. It's not that I just want to be detached from my family. I want to be attached to you. And if I'm attached to you, I'll be detached from my family. So our principle is not detachment. Our principle is attachment to Krishna, and vairagya and jnana follow bhakti. Don't put the cart before the horse. I have to be renounced, then I'll get Krishna. No. We want to please Krishna by bhakti, and renunciation and detachment will follow. So her prayer was that. Gange Bhagam Udanvati, let my attraction follow to you as the Ganges flows to the sea. And then naturally, detachment from family will follow. But detachment doesn't mean that you neglect family also. Detachment means you're responsible. You do your duty in relation to your family and extended family also. I mean, it's a big discussion. I mean, how to deal with at a wedding, how to deal with there's a death in the family.
Thank you so much for telling about the Kunti Maharani prayers. I was getting a little bit the other way around. Yes, because, we can't be desireless. I mean, we have to, in the process, we will become detached also, but then also keep the formal attachment like that. So Prabhuji, like about chanting, I heard that earlier the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, they used to say Hare Rama before, like Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. But then what happened? Lord Chaitanya came and then he put the Hare Krishna in front, right? So now we also know some people still chant Hare Rama first, and because they are more, I don't know, is it because, I'm just saying, is it because they're more attached to Lord Ram or whatever that is? But little bit history you can provide. So, when we come across a person like that in our, we had one, family, where they were chanting this first Hare Rama. They started with Hare Rama, and some devotees came and they said, no, we have to do Hare Krishna first. And then, they reversed it. They listened. And so I was wondering why the devotees did that, or, because anyway, it's coming one after the other, So, I mean, yeah, initially, if somebody says Hare Rama, you will understand why they're saying Hare Rama. This is not a Mahamantra. But when you go in the middle of the singing, then you will not make out the difference. Because anyway, it's repeating one after the other. So I just wanted some outlook or some explanation from you. And am I right by saying that Lord Chaitanya started this and previously people were chanting differently?
I don't know if it was Lord Chaitanya that started that. Windawadi explained it by saying that in early publications that people changed that statement in Shastra to make Rama first, thinking in ignorance actually, that since Rama is the first, preceded the appearance of Lord Krishna in this world. He came in Treta Yuga, Krishna came in Dwapara Yuga, so we should chant Rama's name first. He's he's senior to Krishna. But this is, who is Rama? Rama is Krishna. Krishna is Rama. He is Krishna, and they playing the Leela of a king, of a brother, of a husband, of a warrior. This is Krishna's Leela. So Krishna is Rama, Rama is Krishna. But because it's published in that way, people took it. I mean, someone explained it that way. But Prabhupada's point about this very same question was exactly as you said, that in the round, it's the same. You're singing Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. I mean, what is the difference? You're glorified. Oh, you're so, let them chant. But when they come to our temples, they're going to have to follow the kirtan leader. And if they lead kirtan, that's different. But when they come to our temples and they come to our satsang, whoever's leading kirtan is going to sing Hare Krishna first. Because Krishna is first. Rama, because Bhagvatam's Brahma Samhita says, Ramadi Murti Shukala Niyamena Tishtan Nanavataram Akuro Bhavaneshu Kintu Krishna Swayam Samabhavat Paramapumanyo Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham. Govinda is Adi Purush, not Rama. Rama is an avatar. Krishna is avatari. This is Shastra. He's avatari. He's the source of all avatars. Ete chansakala pumsa Krishna stu Bhagavan Swayam. Indrayi Vyakalam Lokam Hridayanti Yuga Yuga. That he's, out of all the avatars that are mentioned in Bhagavatam, there's a whole list. In first canto, chapter 3, there's a whole list of them. Then this verse comes, Ete Chansakala. They're all Angsha and Kala. Angsha means a portion of the Lord and a portion of Lord, but Krishna's to Bhagavan Swayam. Krishna's Supreme Personality of Godhead. He's avatari. He's not an avatar. This is their misunderstanding. People chant like this because they don't understand Krishna. Matak paratanam nanyat kinshad asti dhananjaya. Maya saramidam protam sutre mandagi. He says that there's no truth higher than me. Everything rests upon me as pearls are strung in a thread. Aham sarvasya prabhavo. That I'm the source of everything. Sarvasya. Everything comes from me. That means Rama also. Krishna's Adi Purush. That should be understood. And if they understood this, they won't be so inclined to chant Rama's name first. But we don't mind. It's not worth arguing about with people. Sometimes people will we get involved in these nitpicky little arguments, and we could spend that more profitably. We could spend the time more profitably by chanting the Lord's name. But if we have friendly relationship, if we have friendly relationship with them, they'll come to our kirtan and they'll be forced to sing Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, not Hare Rama, Hare Krishna. So some things aren't worth arguing about, and that's one of them. I hope that's helpful to you.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Yes, thank you. And thank you for your wonderful association and class.
Well, I don't know how wonderful it is. If it's wonderful, it's only because of Prabhupada. That's a fact, irrefutable fact. I was just a street dog when I wandered into Prabhupada's temple one day, and the devotees patted me and fed me, and here I am 52 years later. So what's wonderful is Prabhupada's mercy is wonderful. And you're all the recipients of Prabhupada's mercy. The grandchildren get more mercy than the children. So you should bless me. You're a recipient of Prabhupada's mercy. Anything else? Thank you for the opportunity to spend time with you, discussing
Hare
and
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Srimad
Prabhuji,
Bhagavatam.
Dandavat Pranam. Thank you so much
Dandavat
for
Pranam.
this nectar.
Thank you very much,
Prabhuji, Dandavat
Prabhuji.
Pranam, all Krishna Prabhupada. Prabhuji, I have a question regarding Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji. I have a question regarding the relative position of the karmi. Of course, we know karmi, and then karma kandi, and then the yogis, then
Your phone is breaking up, Prabhu. I'm having little trouble understanding.
Yeah, then Gyanis.
You're asking definition of those terms? Haribol, do you hear me? Partha Prabhu?
I think
Haribol.
Prabhu's
Then
signals are
yogi,
also-
then
Prabhu,
the bhaktas. But I want to know relative to this, where does the Mayavadi fit in? Some are Brahmavadi, I understand, but there's a Mayavadi. Where do they fit in into the? Do they? I know Krishna says that antavattu phalam tasam tad bhavati alpamedasam. So Krishna says that the karma kandis are alpamedasam, but at the same time he says abhaktam vyaktim apanna mannatamam abuddhaya. So Mayavadis are so he say Krishna says Mayavadis are abuddhaya, and these are alpabuddhaya, that is alpamedasam. So
Prabhuji, you're misquoting. These are verses that you're quoting from 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita about worship of devatas.
Yes, Karmakandi.
So Karmakanda is different from Mayavad. People with Karmakandis that worship demigods, they worship Vishnu also, but they want something out of it. Mayavad means I am God. I am Atma, you are Atma. There is only one Atma. There's no distinction between super soul and soul. There's just one soul. I am Paramatma, you are Paramatma, Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma, everything is Brahma, it is all one. This is envious, demoniac Mayavad. Brahmavadis, they identify themselves as Brahman, but they don't say, I am God. I am the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Everything is being under my control. There's no difference, Atma, Paramatma. They've realized Brahman, they've realized their Brahman nature, Brahmavadis. Mayavadis identify themselves as the Supreme Lord. There's only one Atma, there's only Paramatma, and I am Paramatma. This is offensive. Mayavadi, Krishna, Aparadi. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Mayavadi, Krishna, Aparadi. They're offenders to Krishna. So you spend some time. Actually, if you go to Chaitanya Charitamrita, in the first canto, there's a whole, not first canto, in Adi Lila, there's a whole description about this, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu met Prakashananda Saraswati, these Mayavadis in Varanasi. So there's a nice description about what is Mayavad in that section of Chaitanya Charitamrita. Okay?
yes, Prabhu, I want to just relate it to that. Where does the Mayavadis fit in compared to the Karmakandis or Karmis? Karmis don't have any understanding about spirituality, so they keep on just like animal propensity, and Karmakandis are slightly higher. where does this Mayavadi fit in? So do they are they still worse than the karmis?
Practically speaking, Prabhu, the entire world, we say Nirvishesha Shanivari Paschatya Deshataran. Nirvishesh means Mayavad. It means that that God has no personal characteristic. He has no eye, no nose, no mouth, no ear. He can't hear you. He can't see you. He has no qualities. He's just Brahman. Brahman, Nirvishesh Brahman, Nirakar Brahman. And I am the same as that. I am Tattvamasi. I am that. Sarvam Kovidam Brahma. I am Brahma. I am God. Aham Brahmasmi. And this Mayavad permeates Karma Kanda. It permeates karmi life also. It permeates everywhere. Here in India, I mean, there's another God coming out every month, another Baba, another incarnation coming out, another Amma, another Mayavad avatar coming out of India every month. It's like it's a avatar factory. And they all say the same thing, that I am God and you are God. So it's not a question of karma kanda or karmi. They may be engaged, but their misconception is the same, that God is one and I am God. Brahman pervades everything, and I am that. Tattvamasi. Shiva, they say Shivoham, I am Shiva. Tattvamasi, I am the Supreme. So this is a big discussion, but in general, we can understand that Mayavad has permeated society, especially here in India. And we have a response to that. And that is Harinam Sankirtan, book distribution, building temples, distributing prasadam, and challenging them openly. You say you're God, you say you are God and I am God. Well, do something. What can you show? Show your God, show your universal form. Lift Giriraj Govardhan. Lift me. What is big of a mountain? Can you lift me? Hold me on your left hand, little finger. Can you do it? No, you just talk, big talk. I am God. You can't do anything. You can't demonstrate your godhood. You're a cheater. Challenge them on their face. You're simply a cheater. Show your godhood. Prove it. This is a different discussion, but I hope you get the idea. And if you want to study it in depth, you can go to Chaitanya Charitamrita. Okay, Prabhuji?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for your reference and your nice clarification. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glory.
Dandava Pranam, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, as you know, it was very nice to hear you after a long time, and I really don't have any question because everything is explained and in such a elaborate way. So we get something from today's class. As always, Prabhuji, your classes are really inspiring. Thank you for coming on the call. Thank you.
Well, thank you for the opportunity, Prabhu. This is our happiness. Tushanti Charamanti Cha, when devotees gather together and discuss Hari Katha.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. This is Geeta. I'm sorry I joined about 2-3 minutes late. Where are you based out of, Prabhuji?
I've been living in Mayapur the last almost 6 years.
Oh,
I joined ISKCON in 1973 in Portland, Oregon. And I lived in Colorado for about 25 years at ISKCON temple there, Denver ISKCON. And I was at Prabhupada Village in North Carolina for 10 years. See, I'm gradually making my way east. And now I've come to Mayapur, final destination. I hope to live in Mayapur and die in Mayapur. I travel also in Uttarakhand, not Uttarakhand, I've been there, but Punjab, Haryana, UP, sometimes Maharashtra. Last time I was out in Gujarat. So I travel around India, just for my benefit, to be encouraged by meeting so many wonderful devotees.
So, Prabhuji, did you also stay in Vrindavan?
I've never stayed there for any length of time. The most time I've spent there is maybe 2 weeks at a time. I'm too much of I'm a mercy case. I need Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy. Radharani is strict in Vrindavan, but she's in her most compassionate form in Mayapur as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So I'm a mercy case. I'm not qualified to live in Vrindavan.
I didn't get that, Prabhuji. What does that mean?
I said I'm not qualified to live in Vrindavan. I'm
Why
living
is
in
that?
Mayapur because I'm a fool and a rascal.
Hmm.
That's your humbleness, Prabhuji.
No, I have
Yeah,
I have some little feeling for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Yeah.
So Vrindavan is a state of mind, Mataji. You can
that's
be
right.
in Vrindavan, and be in complete Maya. You can be in the geographical location of Vrindavan, Uttar Pradesh, but be in complete Maya. Or you can be at work in front of your computer and be in Vrindavan by your consciousness. So Vrindavan is a state of mind. Mayapur is a state of mind. We say Krishna consciousness. Where is our consciousness?
That's
Right?
true. I totally agree
Yeah.
with that. But I don't know,
Yeah.
people keep confusing. They want, about Kashi. They keep saying that in our last few years we want to be in Kashi. Those kind of things one hears. So that's why.
Kashi is for Mayavadis. Kashi is full of Mayavadis.
Yeah.
Varanasi is full of Mayavadis. Kashi. And frankly, Prabhus, Matajis, when I go to Vrindavan, it's very disturbing experience because what Vrindavan has become. I remember Vrindavan as powder soft Brajraj parikram paths and no monkeys, no kids zooming through the gullies on motorbikes, no dust, no packed up tourists, just going Radhe Radhe and have no relationship with Srimati Radharani. It's become very, very commercialized. Vrindavan is still there, of course, but Vrindavan proper has become so commercialized and overcrowded. It's very
Yeah.
disappointing.
I totally can relate to that.
Yeah. So
Thank you, Prabhuji. I totally can relate.
and
Very
Srila
dirty
Prabhupada
and there are open sewages also. Those kind of things.
also.
Mm.
Well, that's always been there. But Prabhupada said one time that anything you can get anywhere else in all of Braj is available right here at Krishna Balaram Mandir. And it is a fact. It is simply a fact. You want to see God, then there he is. He's right there. Krishna is so present. Radha Shyam is so present. Krishna Balaram, Gaurnita, they're so present. Like it's not like a deity of Krishna. Here he is, drinking his beauty. Just mercy is flowing off the altar at this place. It's Prabhupada Samadhi. You don't have to go anywhere else. You get full mercy, full realization just at Krishna Balaram Mandir. And actually, the story is that Prabhupada had Los Angeles Temple was our world headquarters at one time. And Rukmini Dwarkadish personally instructed Prabhupada that you leave Los Angeles and go preach in India. And Prabhupada said, why shall I go? He argued with the Lord. He said, why shall I go? We're making devotees. There's so many people are coming. Sunday feast is packed up. Harinam is going on. Book distribution is going on. Why shall I go to India? Dwarkadisham, I will give you a temple 100 times better than your Los Angeles temple. What is that temple? Krishna Balaram Mandir. So the whole India Yatra, preaching in India, began with Dwarkadish sending Prabhupada to India to open temples. So it happened with great austerity, with great difficulty. But Krishna Balaram Mandir is the most sacred place. It's like the center of ISKCON's world, lotus feet of Radhe Shyam and Krishna Balaram, Prabhupada Samadhi. So we go, you don't have to go anywhere else. Get all the mercy right there at Krishna Balaram Mandir.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I have a question to ask as well.
Okay.
Vrindavan, you said that Vrindavan, Radharani is very strict in Vrindavan. That and the other question is, what is the definition of that? That Radharani is very strict in Vrindavan, and the other definition is like, what is all these people coming to Vrindavan and living there? So does it mean like anybody can just walk into Vrindavan and just settle there and live there?
Anyone can walk into Vrindavan The cows are in Vrindavan, the dogs are in Vrindavan, the rickshawalas are in Vrindavan. But are they in Vrindavan?
No, they're not. But like
They're not.
physically, anybody can walk into Vrindavan and stay there forever.
Yes, yes. If you can, if you can find a place, good luck trying to find a place in Vrindavan during Kartik.
Okay.
It's packed.
It's
Anyone
packed.
can go there. Anyone can go there. But to go to Vrindavan, one has to become free from ahankar. This is why the system is devotees who go to Gopeshwar Mahadev, who is none different. He's a dham. He's guarding the dham. He's dham palana. He's guarding the dham. And to get actual entrance to the dham, we have to become free from ahankar. So devotees who go and beg entrance into Vrindavan from Gopeshwar Mahadev, who removes this ahankar.
Beautifully said. What about Radharani is very strict in Vrindavan. Could you explain that?
That she is only interested to see Krishna's happiness. And many people come to Krishna Bhakti for some ulterior motive. They may come to our temple looking for a man, looking for a woman, looking for position, looking to do business. They may come to Krishna consciousness for many reasons that have no relationship with Krishna's happiness. Radharani will never be pleased with such a person. So she's strict. There is, I mean, if people come to Dham and they engage, just like here in Mayapur, sometimes I see liquor bottles, empty cigarette boxes, half-smoked beedies. Is this what Mayapur is for? Same thing's going on in Vrindavan.
Not only that, they have trees of wheat. They are growing wheat in Vrindavan.
Yes, good. It's good to grow wheat. It's very nice. Wheat, they grow many things in Vrindavan. That's all good.
No,
But-
weed is a drug.
Huh?
Weed is a drug. It's an intoxication.
Oh, weed. I mean,
Yeah.
like ganja.
Yeah, ganja they are growing nowadays.
Yes, there's ganja going on in Vrindavan. There's prostitution going on in Vrindavan. There's animal slaughter going on in Vrindavan. This is Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga has attacked the Dham because Dham is where we get mercy. We get mercy from Dham and from Vaishnavas.
Isn't there a saying, saints say that Maya cannot enter Braj, Dham?
They can't enter Braj. Maya can come to the geographical location of Braj, but she can never enter Braj.
What does that mean?
And a materialistic person can never enter Braj either.
Yeah.
It's like the rickshaw, the cows, they're floating on top of Braj. They're floating on top of Dham. They haven't entered Dham. Dham is not different from Krishna. That's like deity. Everyone knows deity is made of brass or made of stone, made of wood, a painting. But is stone a deity? Stone is a medium through which we can relate to the Lord. Something we can see.